in Jamaica for one purpose only, to defeat the governing Jamaica Labour Party. You think that the elections were fought only by the People's National Party? You are wrong. Let's take a break and oh, I tell you, I wonder if I am let's take a break and come right back. Listeners, have you made your contribution tonight? Have you contributed to the program yet? Well, please do so. It's 13 after 8 o'clock. It's 8? Yeah, great. Well, I'm getting all type of notice and notes. If you're in Jamaica, 876-858-9553. You see that chain act? May I get there? Should I get there? One more night. There's the Zelle account. 954-635-8732. Please step up to the I have lots to cover, so I must go on. We have to ride and whistle, listeners. It's 15 after 9 o'clock, and I know I'm a little lengthy, but I wrapping this up soon. And 954-635-8732. That's the Zelle account. Without your contributions, we are not going to be able to. 15 after 8 o'clock. I think we take your no, we can't take any calls until about 9 if we have time. 379 people on this now. Please tap and repost and share. My goodness, 1100. A total of 1100 people are now tuned into Politics Plus. What a staggering number. Imagine 1100 people, 1100 people sitting down listening to us, eh? Oh, thank you so much for joining. I know. I hope we're not boring you, okay, people? Please, the Zelle account is going to be posted. You need to support us as we continue, all right? Keep listening. Power is not single-handedly gained. Let me see if I can break that down. If you work in an organization and someone wants to destroy you, they can't do it by themselves, you know. No, they cannot do it by themselves. What they do is they form cliques. They may, you know what people, could I share something personal? People were paid at one time to watch me, you know. just to watch me to see if I could make a mistake. And one night I went to a little spot. Tell you the truth. Oh, that boy, people wicked. You think wickedness in the world, yeah? Wicked people are so wicked. You'll be shocked to know. I went to a little spot. And when I went to the little spot, I was shocked to learn back at my workplace that there was someone there watching to see what I was doing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing I am a well-behaved man. Or people set up people who watch you. Yeah? All cameras them set up just to catch you. Because they want to bring you down. The 2025 general elections was not only fought by the People's National Party, the PNP couldn't do it by themselves. Power is a complex web of relationships. And so if you're working at a place and people don't like you and they want you to get fired, what they do, they start plotting against you. Not one person. No one person can do it. Yes? And they start to plot against you. That's what happened in Jamaica. The Jamaica Labour Party's leader came under attack, not only from the PNP. And that is why you don't trust people, really. You have to be very careful. This program here, I can tell you, my listeners, this program, Politics Plus, you know the amount of attempts that they have made to discredit the program, to discredit the host. You know the amount of attempts. Some of you may be listening to me here. No, right now. Each up in the For You page, listening. Yes. Yes, you have made attempts. Yes. Uno bad mind. Yes, it's true. Uno have no wish nobody no good. And as you see people climbing up 2 little steps, uno want to tear them down. Yes, it's true. It's a complex interplay. It's a web. They set up a web and hope to catch you in their deceptive, dangerous, deceitful, dirty web. And let me tell you something. If God is not on your side, they catch you. You see what I'm telling you? Yeah. It's not little attacks we have come under here. And in this context, Mr. Curry's rejection of the Prime Minister's offer can be seen as a bid for autonomy, but also potentially a move that undermines the state's authority. This action by Mr. Curry is not single-handed. There is no question about it. Mr. Curry is not acting on his own. Can't. Would never. The narrative is for divided loyalties and a fragmented sovereignty. And so, I put a rhetorical question to you, my listeners. What if Mr. Curry's actions and the rhetoric of the opposition leader are not isolated incidents? What if it is part of a larger strategy to create a narrative of state ineffectiveness and fragmentation? Could it be? Thank you, Beach Girl. Could it be that Curry's assertion of sovereignty and Golden's insistence on representing only his party supporters are two sides of the same coin, with an aim to diminish the authority of the state and create space for alternative power structures? Rhetorical. That's for you. Go and think about it. There is a concept that I will leave you with. It's called the state of exception. A man by the name of Agamben wrote extensively on it. And he argues that states often create a narrative of exceptionality to justify the suspension of normal rules and norms. In this case, it could be that those two are collaborating to create a narrative of exceptionality, where the normal rules of the state authority do not apply. This, my listeners, is of such significance, and I believe the implications are clear. Mr. Curry, if you are listening, I'd love to speak to you and any member of the party that could help me with this. Now, I must go to the close. My time is fastly running out. Let's go to Mr. Crawford. Mr. Crawford, Damien, hinted that he is about to challenge for leadership of the People's National Party. Mr. Crawford was speaking at the Rotary Club of New Kingston some time ago, and
doing to improve our good morning, MD.
He was asked this question. Listen to him.
Oh, your ability to do math on the mic is really impressive, you know. So I have two questions. So the first question, what are the easy things that the government is not doing that they could be doing to improve our situation? And the second question is, you said something about if you were prime minister, do you see yourself as being prime minister?
The question is, do you see yourself as prime minister? Listen to Mr. Crawford's response.
Eventually.
The second one is going to get me in trouble. So I won't touch the second one. But stay tuned. But
you hear that? When asked if he intends to be prime minister, Mr. Crawford says that if he answers that question, he's going to get into trouble. Who is going to put you into trouble, Mr. Crawford? And but then he goes on to say, stay tuned. Now, stay tuned for what? What are we to stay tuned for? Mr. Crawford's stay tuned response is a masterclass in what is called calculated ambiguity. It's what is called deferral. The question is deferred because if I answer it, I'll get into problems. Let me postpone that answer for some time in the future. And so stay tuned is a perfect example of deferral, leaving the audience wondering what he really means. Now, Mr. Crawford, if you're listening, here is an opportunity. Come and tell us, what is it that you really mean? What do you mean that we are to stay tuned? Are you planning to join the Jamaica Labour Party? Or is it true that you are planning to challenge for leadership next year? Now, it is clear to me that Mr. Crawford is up to something. Mr. Crawford's demeanor and disposition has changed. He is obviously appearing more calm, statesman-like, thorough, and have you noticed that Mr. Crawford is not at the press conferences, nor has he gotten too involved with the PNP's rhetoric. In this context, Mr. Crawford's response can be seen as a clever way to avoid answering the question directly while keeping the speculation alive. By saying stay tuned, he's implying that there are more to come without committing to anything concrete. Now, is Mr. Crawford positioning himself to challenge for leadership of the PNP? Why are we to stay tuned? Well, we are tuned in, Mr. Crawford. While we can't know for certain, Crawford's stay tuned response suggests that he's keeping the options open and is likely considering a leadership challenge. The question is he doing so with the blessing of the current leadership? Or is he preparing to make a move against them? The plot thickens. And we'll indeed have to stay tuned to see how this develops. My listeners, I want to thank you so much for tuning into Neighbors Notes tonight. That's all I have for you. It's your time. Great evening to you.
Lifeboat for the PNP now, or maybe a lifebuoy, or even a noodle, but send something because they need help, and this was on full display.
Errors after errors after errors. Oh my goodness. Them not ready. Them not ready. 28 minutes to 9 o'clock. Good evening to you, Harry. How are you?
Good night, neighbor.
How are you, Harry?
Not doing too bad, you know. How about you, neighbor?
I'm doing all right. I don't understand. My goodness, what is wrong with this now, man? Oh. Okay. So Harry, what's on your mind this evening? What's happening?
I'm just here listening to the neighbor notes, you know. And I'm listening to you breaking down I want to call it somewhat of a sad story for what the state is currently. Between two, I would want to say, respected leaders, if I can put it that way, for their respective groups, to see the sad state that they've now put themselves in. Specifically because, for example, Corey, who I thought should not meddle in the political affairs of this magnitude, much less aligning himself from what we've seen coming out of the 2025 election, right? There's no doubt as to where his allegiance stands. And that in its entirety will cause and has been causing a division even amongst his own people. Because I've taken a look, neighbor, at a specific clip. The one where you had the residents of a compound speaking and voicing their concerns in the most Jamaican manner, of course. You know, very expression and showing the passion. And it shows a level of division to me, even along political lines, because I could have identified persons who would have been aligned with the government and those who would have not, and this is within a compo. And that to me would also see where what set of people would agree with what Curry has done and those who haven't. Because for me, it's clear as day. There's one individual saying, hey, the government should not send anything come up if they can't send it with the military. And another individual would come up and also said, Curry is doing nothing wrong. And if, this is the critical part of it, that person, I don't know what her name is, stated that if the JDF is coming, send Mocha as well. Now, neighbor, for me as a Jamaican, that to me, looking at it, say something not right. Because if you highlight the area where one person comes from is in alignment with the government, and you come from another section, right? It simply means you know something as a resident, and that something is not in alignment with what is right. So that for me now have me calling in question Curry's leadership and what is happening in a compound. Is it incongruent with the laws of the nation? And that is very questionable to me. I don't know what your take on that is and what other persons think of it, but I've listened to that clip extensively just to see if I'm misinterpreting or I'm looking a little bit too deep. But sad to say I'm not, because just analyzing the conversation between both women says a lot to me, and there's a lot not to be desired from that conversation as a Jamaican. But it is also a reality which I'll have to accept. That is what it is. But how do we go about changing that reality as well? And as such, if Curry is the true leader he proclaims to be, then he has to rectify and provide clarity on that discussion. Also, I think it's in the best interest of Mark Golding to also come and speak, because the truth is there's no way you should have accepted a quote-unquote sovereign leader on your campaign trail. And on top of that, making the promise of giving the Maroons a seat at the Senate, which he failed to do, because you don't need to win an election to give them a seat at the Senate. You have 8. You could have easily given them 1, right? Yes. The same promise he made to the diaspora. Again, he has 8. He could have given up one of those positions to somebody from the diaspora. However, he would have worked it. That is left to be seen. But he has failed on the promises to Chief Curry. And also we've still seen the alignment of what is not in keeping with the standards and the legislation and the laws of the land. And that for me has now called both leaders of their respective groups into questioning. Because now, for one, Mark Golding not standing on his promises sends a signal to the wider Jamaican as well, like myself. If you can't come out and commit to your promises to another leader that you respect, what would you do to me as the average Jamaican? I can't trust your word because you don't take another leader serious enough to commit. And then now to also what seems like to be using the power of this leader to his detriment, which I think he needs to come out and salvage something from the situation and clear himself. I don't know how he's going to do it, but if he understands true leadership, sometimes you need to fall on your sword. And that for me has now put both leaders in serious questioning on their character, for one, And then two, you cannot be trusted with your words, much less your actions. And this is just between both persons. So if you put it on a wider scale, it is in alignment with all the failed commitments. Also, on Mark Golding, to look at him failing as a leader. I'm happy you played Mr. Crawford again for the other night again. I'm calling for the plan, the post, Melissa, the draft. As a leader, you have a member coming out and making such bold statement, and you can't even hold that member to the word, which means you also can't commit to proper leadership of your group. And for me, who have studied leadership and management, who understands it to a great extent, I would say both men have failed and are failing. And that for me is concerning for both the quote-unquote sovereign state and also for somebody who is supposed to be the opposition or the alternative government.
Do you suspect, even rhetorically, that there is collusion here on the part of these two tribes?
So far, based on what we've seen about what is put out, I mean, we can only analyze and critique what is in front of us, right?
But what would empower Mr. Curry to have the boldness to come out and decline an offer by the Prime Minister of Jamaica, sir? What? How could he have acted single-handedly on this one?
You would have to have the backing of another power equal to or greater than what you're declining or the leader that you're declining, because it would be suicidal if you don't have that backing, and it would be foolish to do that. So simply means the only other leader or group that has come out publicly to seem like they can challenge the current administration is Mark Golding and the PMP, and they've been actively doing so. So much, I think Curry, this is bold enough, because I've never seen another chief come on any campaign to side with anybody. If they have their allegiance or alignment, it's kept in secret or away from the public. But it simply means he trusts that power which he's in alignment with to back him and not use him as a scapegoat or as a tactical maneuver to attack the administration. And that is what, based on information we have right now, is showing. It's highlighting all of these. And these things we're seeing are factual, because we can't say the discourse we've seen in the videos happening at a compound are not facts, because we can't tell these people that what they're saying aren't true if we don't know. They're living it. We're also seeing where I'll say the opposition leader coming out and saying he only represents a part of or a portion of, which is 400,000 strong.
Yes.
And that for me, putting together two collusion of groups is to challenge. I know they say to divide and conquer, and we've seen, I want to call them sporadic shots when you're looking at warfare, where they just look to shoot wherever and see what sticks. And that has been happening. We've seen, I hope we put the whole thing with the election of Andrew Holness's seat with Buchanan, that dragged out for no reason, more than to stay relevant, to say, yes, the election finishes, but your integrity is still in question. Because in no alignment,
there was no reason to have that, keep that going.
There was nothing to back it, neighbor. And no law to back it. And then this is the other part of it, right? So we're calling in terms of Damien to say what is the plan post Melissa. But Mark Golding, whether intentionally or I want to believe unintentionally, refused to reel back in Mr. Buchanan, because he could have given traction and a distraction from the failure as an opposition. And that is something people aren't looking at. But if you can fire enough for something to even semi-stick, to have who you're going up against to turn and focus on something, you can blindside them. And that in war is a tactical maneuver. Now, is it successful? Unfortunately for them.
Let me back up a little. It is clear, Harry, that the PNP was either misguided as to the law, or they were mischievous. Because based on the judgment I saw today, the PNP could not have gotten this wrong. Do you think that the PNP was just being mischievous with this case? And if the answer is yes, what does it say of an opposition that acts in this way?
Power hungry. They will do every and anything, lawfully or unlawfully, ethically or not, just to get power. That is that's a message it is sending to anyone thinking.
Harry, because they knew it would fail in the court.
But it hasn't. No, but neighbor, it hasn't failed with the people itself who ran with it.
Oh,
right.
Yes.
Just to put it out in public, in the media aspect, to get the average person to say, see, Andrew hasn't won his seat, and it gone another court. They have another date, Andrew have to face another court. And as that go along, they can still say, listen, his integrity is questionable regardless of what happened. And also, not just his integrity with the whole 28 accounts thing, but he's found a way to rob the seat in their own words, which is unethical, unlawful, and again, question a man's character who is supposed to be leading the country. Now, if you can do all three with the momentum, because that's what they were running with, but it died down because after 2-3 weeks, it slowly died a very good death. But it still had a little traction because it was still appearing in court. So I think now that there's no more court, it has put to bed, it dies there, and they can no longer question that aspect of it. But also, neighbor, is a distraction from the opposition being unable again to raise their standards to where it is now to even be efficient enough and capable enough to warrant a position to lead the people currently. Because if you need a distractor a lot of times so people don't look at what you're doing wrong, or your lack of. And Buchanan stretching beating the dead horse basically gave them enough time to come and spread information elsewhere, misinformation, and that also garnered a lot of traction, like a snowball effect for them. And as such, if you look at it, not once, and somebody can correct me, I hope opposition persons are listening and can correct me, I have not seen once where Mark Golding, as the opposition leader, has reeled in any of his persons from something that they said incorrectly, from misleading, from being disingenuous. He has not really anybody, even so much in the parliament.
Double down on this a little bit for me, Harry. Are you saying to me that based on what came out today, the PNP would have known that this matter would have failed in the court?
They know. And I don't put it to say, for example, the great KD Knight wouldn't have seen this because he still gives them advice.
And
as great as he is.
And Mr. Pattis.
Right? And even Dion Jackson is a lawyer because I'm not even putting her out of the question. Dion Jackson Miller, she's also a lawyer. Right?
Well,
so they have, she's been siding with them, right? I don't think she can take off the orange color hat fast enough anymore.
Well, I don't know if she's a member.
Right? Well, there's something going around. I won't say what it is yet until I have the facts, right? But there's something going around with her and a certain promise. But it didn't stop. It didn't stop before other leaders of the opposition from getting somebody outside to to help and advise. So she's not far-fetched, right?
Uh-huh.
But with this wealth of expert
Yeah.
and experience, roughly about 150 years among all the names we've mentioned in terms of experience, these are stalwarts in their field. I don't think they could make such a blunder because that would say something about all of them. But they know, but they allowed it to run its course, run its natural death, so that they could at least still piggyback from something and to still be relevant enough to question character, to have a distractor as well, and so much to ensure that the people of Jamaica are so divided with their attention span that they can pin down, double down on something to call it out for what it is. Not many persons are going to do it like we do from Night to Night, neighbor, because we are for Jamaica and we are by Jamaicans, right? And we want the people to see through the gimmicks, the misinformation, the disinformation, and the disingenuous from what we're seeing, right? We want the facts and the truth to come out, because that is what Jamaica and what will move Jamaica forward, and it will keep this democracy alive. Because without
what does it say of a political party who is either not familiar with the law, which is an indictment if they are not, or they have known the law, but yet still, for political reasons, cause the case to go forward in the court? That something needs to be said about that, Harry.
It's the, what's that word I'm looking for? The perversion of the court. And I think Mr. Buchanan should pay a fee for public mischief, because that's what it should be coming down to, at least. Because there's no way, no shape or form that you can be taking counsel. And this slide. Could that also be questioning Mr. Buchanan's intelligence and maybe ignorance to what he was going up with? Was he ill-advised? Did the party fail him as well? Did his leader left him out for dry? And those are serious questions, not just for him as somebody who wants to be in representation of politics, but his leader as well. Because if it's to let him out for dry, neighbor, it means you will sacrifice your own soldiers for every and anything. And that, to me, for Jamaica, is not somebody you want to be leading.
Uh-huh. Amazing, Harry. Now, Harry, go on to Mr. Crawford. Mr. Crawford is saying that we must stay tuned. He's not able to answer the question whether or not he wants to be Prime Minister, because that would get him into trouble, and we are to stay tuned. What does he mean by we are to stay tuned?
It's a usual tactics used, and it's a marketing one as well, neighbor. He's versed in that, In fact, that's what he lectures at the university, consumer behavior and marketing. So he's very well known how to, in the marketing space, to reach out and appeal to the emotions and so on of people, to keep you wanting to hear more, because he knows that is also a way to be relevant, and he's also rebranding himself. So when he re-emerges from this cocoon that he has gone into, because I don't think people have realized how quiet he is, but he's also working, and we have to give him, whether that is for leadership or for something else, he's working and doing the work. But when he re-emerges from this cocoon, neighbor, he wants to say, this is what I said when I said stay tuned, because he knows Mark Golding doesn't have enough time. He's more youthful. And if he just bides him time, he knows he can challenge anybody else who may become eligible currently. But if he plays the long game, he can easily, and I don't want people to misinterpret this, but he can easily, his career can easily outlive Mark Golding's, because Mark Golding doesn't have much years remaining. That is facts. Unless he's going to stay there until he's 70, right? But even then, he can't stay there as a leader and expect to deliver coming 2030 and beyond, because that may be political suicide for him and also the party if they do that. But Mr. Crawford now knows he has time on his hands. He appeals more to the people. All he has to do now is put in the work to rebrand, remodel, and re-emerge as something different from what we've seen. Because we've all known Crawford. A lot of mouth talking. If you let him talk long enough, then put him foot in our mouth. Plain and straight. Right? But now he's slower. He's more decisive. He's calmer. And he's targeting specific areas. In fact, he's even more collaborative because he's doing good work with Dana currently, which is the education minister, right? She hasn't spoken anything ill of him. So it shows he's just biding that time for something he thinks he's better equipped soon enough to can step up as a leader and as the PNP's leader.
Good evening, Mr. Chops.
Good evening, my brother, neighbor. Good evening, gentlemen.
How are you?
I am very well, thank you, sir.
Mr. Chops, the Jamaica Labour Party had a central executive meeting last evening. Were you there?
No, sir.
You're not a member of the central executive?
No, sir.
Okay. The central exec, well, the party today put out a statement suggesting that it's a triumph for the rule of law. Mr. Chops Media, do you think the PNP knew that this would have been defeated in the court?
You're talking about the Buchanan situation?
Correct.
Yeah, I think the PNP knew that this was just a game. It's a game that everybody wants. It pays to keep the prime minister in controversy. So,
but Chops, is this not poor political strategizing by the PNP? Because how does it benefit them?
Well, the thing is, the PNP believe that once they can mar a situation into controversy, it pays for them. And it doesn't matter what the PNP have done in the past. If you were to ask them now, in their minds, they won 14 seats in the last elections. So in other words, that solidified their actions. So all the disrespect.
Am I not correct, Chops, that additional seats for an opposition does not necessarily strengthen their positions?
It doesn't. It does, especially if the seats that you're talking about are seats that were actually yours before.
Would you say to me that the opposition today is stronger than it was before the last election? Would you say that?
Stronger in a sense because there's more voices now in
the parliament.
In the parliament, but out in the field, the PNP would have lost miserably, if you ask me. And why would I say that? Because for the length of time that they have been campaigning, and they were not able to take away one single seat that we could consider a JLP safe seat. The PNP has not won one seat of the 14. The 14 that they pick up in the last election. Not one of those seats could be considered a JLP strong seat that they take away from the JLP. None. And if that is the case, after years of campaigning, then it means that you would have failed miserably.
Chops, the positioning of the party and the posture of the leader suggesting that he represents 400,000 Jamaicans. Why has the Labour Party not called that statement out? That is a very, very poor statement from an opposition leader.
It has been called out, It has been called out both in the upper and lower houses. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Marlon Morgan would have made a comment on it. So it has been called out.
What is your comment?
I believe it sets it tells the Jamaican people that the decision you made in October in the last election is the right decision, because had it not gone that way, what the PNP is saying is that if they were ever to assume state power, that is how they would govern. So they would govern just to suit their people and the people who are politically connected to them. No, this is not something that anybody is making up. This is what they say. The leader said it, that he has 28 seats. He said that in Parliament, Hansard,
Yes.
that the 28 seats that he represents. So in other words, he's advocating for those persons. And had he, been the leader, that is exactly how he would have handled these kind of situations. So it just says to the Jamaican people that we dodged a bullet and we made the right decision.
Fantastic. No, Chops. Onto some other matters. The Prime Minister visited Akong Pong,
Yes.
and had some conversation with Mr. Curry.
Yes.
It seems quite cordial, or at the time, and the Prime Minister walked away, promising that the army would be sent in to assist. Lo and behold, Mr. Curry has since put out a statement saying, "You know what? I don't think so." Chops, what would give Mr. Curry such a feeling of boldness to have come out and reject an offer by the government of Jamaica?
The external persons who are influencing his brain and trying to give him counsel on how to approach the governing of Maroons, the Maroons in that space. Because if Curry had done his homework and the persons who are advising him, if they had done their homework, they would have recognized that this whole argument about being sovereign does not carry any water at all, because no Maroon in Jamaica is independent of Jamaica. Jamaica is a single state, 144 square miles. Yeah? And no section of Jamaica has been so duly declared as independent. The Treaty of 1838 speaks specifically to how the colonels are to be appointed. And if you read it, you will understand the method that ought to be utilized to install a colonel. A colonel must be installed by the state. And the state, in the context of the treaty, refer to the government of Jamaica. So all colonels who have served after Kojo, none who have been installed by way of an election have been duly appointed.
Yes.
So even Curry himself,
None have been duly
none, not
appointed.
one, including my good cousin, Meredith Rowe, none has been appointed, duly or properly appointed. Because
But when you say the state, you are talking about the Jamaican state?
Yes, the Jamaican state.
So why has the state allowed this to happen?
I don't know if the state allow it. I think the state has not really dealt with it. You're right, because what happened is that space, and if you listen to Dr. Lloyd Barnett some time ago, he would have said that. The whole argument about them being independent is not, it doesn't have any leg to stand on, So I don't know why. I think it's a glorious opportunity now for the government to really and truly step in and do what needs to be done. Because if the government fail to act at this moment, it is going to send a very strong signal of weakness on the part of the government if the government should ever acquiesce to what Curry is asking the government to do, which is to pull back on the military assisting and just give building materials to him, it would defeat our military and it would defeat the government position on fundamental issues such as the Maroon community.
Are you concerned, Mr. Chops, that at this time there seems to be some collusion, and what could be the possible outcomes of such collusions that may even be perceived?
Collusion with who though?
With the opposition.
Well, that has never been a secret, and not just Colonel Curry, but colonels prior to Curry would have supported either JLP or PNP in the past. There's really no ambiguity there. There's no hiding of that fact that does exist. However, when it comes to the business of the Maroons, no political line should be drawn. You know, the bus that was donated to them by this government was laden with PNP operatives going to meeting in Kingston. So there's no question he got a platform to speak from, Curry that is. So there's no if, answer, but as to whether or not he's political. We know that. And, you know, it's just a matter of us working around it because we know he's political. We know his decision is not merely for the benefit of the the people.
Question: Can the JDF enter the Maroon community and carry out work without their approval?
Of course.
What if they were to do it?
The government, the people will welcome them. The people will welcome them with open arms. It's only a few people in a compound town, very, very few. And those are the few persons who are extremely close to Chief Curry, who would put up any resistance at all. Only a few. And if the state...
What type of resistance do you think would be put up?
I mean, they will come there and beat drums and carry on. I mean, there are some thugs who are aligned to Curry who might want to take it a step further, but they would do so at their own peril. Because I would not advise that they take that route. You know. Good, but yeah.
All right. Onto the hurricane Chops. How you think the government is executing its recovery and relief at this point? It has been marred in partisanship. How you think the government is doing?
In terms of managing the whole affair of the hurricane, I think the government is doing excellent. And when I say excellent, they're about NGOs coming in and giving away care packages and stuff. I want us to look at any one of those any convoy that came to Jamaica. Just measure up any one of those convoy against, for example, the Belt and Road. The Ark, the ship that is some food packages going into a community, and tell me which one has more impact. And without waiting for the answer, it has to be the ship.
Yes.
It has to be the ship. So I'm saying that to say to you that the government's response has been way more than just simply adequate. It has been stellar. In terms of the guidance and the facilitating, because even the very care packages that some of these entertainers and celebrities and NGOs brought in, They didn't come in by themselves. The government had to provide the logistics, in some cases the security and transportation to move these things around.
Yeah.
So that's excellent. Their performance is excellent.
Finally, Chops,
Yeah.
the Prime Minister seemed to be, and the party, seem to be active now in pushing back against propaganda, misinformation. I even see the Prime Minister suggesting that the government is considering some legislation or maybe some law coming on stream to maybe put some balance on social media, etc. But it is emerging jobs that the PNP may be behind some of the people that are on social media spreading mis and false information, to the point where one senior journalist is suggesting that they probably are being paid. You could countenance anything like that, Chops?
I think there are persons who have been paid to do some of the things that they're doing, because it's ridiculous that you would take. I think they are. I would agree with that, 100%. But there's no logic in doing it without some level of motivation. And what motivates people more than money?
More than money. Well, want to thank you for joining us tonight. You hear, sir?
No problem, my brother. Take it easy. I'll step back and just listen.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. Right. So that was our brother and friend, Chops Media. Big up. All right, let's bring in Gustav. Harry's here with us, and 11 minutes after 9 o'clock, and Brother Gustav, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing awesome, my neighbor. Good night to you and Harry and the rest of listeners.
Many topical points, Gustav. First one, Damian Crawford positioning himself to run for leadership of the People's National Party. What's your view on that?
Well, just another beating stick for either the current Prime Minister or as a whole the JLP, because the JLP is destined and poised for a fourth consecutive term. And with all due respect to
Damian Crawford could coalesce, the party could coalesce around Mr. Crawford and provide an effective alternative for this government?
No, neighbor. The first thing first, the PNP has damage control to do. That would have happened under this current PNP leader. I mean, the trust level that the PNP has now with Jamaicans who are just genuinely not PNP supporters, are just generally not Labour Party supporters, it's not looking good for the PNP. They are losing traction amongst the demographic of people who are more literate and are more in tune with current affairs rather than optics on social media and otherwise.
Yeah, I see news today also that the General Secretary is stepping away from that position. Do you think that there's a larger story here, Gustav, that he too may be positioning himself for leadership?
It's going to be a rat race over there, neighbor. It's going to be a rat race over there again for leadership. Again, the PNP is also looking or steering down the barrel of unity again because of that leadership race. Is that party looking like a formidable alternative? Not under those headings, neighbor. So, as I said, they have damage control to do in many departments. In that regard, in terms of like unifying themselves collectively and just choose whom is best for leadership rather than make it a challenge, which typically under their watch, whenever there's a challenge for leadership, it tends to lead to a fallout with the top brass of the PNP. So it is ill-advisable for them to really even have a face-off like that. But them better off, neighbor, just collectively just select a leader and present themselves as a worthy alternative. Even if their endeavors to be government will fail, Jamaica deserves a formidable opposition, one that not only opposes neighbor, but also bring forth proposals to the table, and also give credit where credit is due, and where they have felt or have feelings that things are not happening right. Don't always be a doom and gloom opposition, but also bring forth proposals, worthy proposals as well.
What is the difficulty you're having with, you are a laborite, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is the difficulty that you have with the current leader of the opposition as a Jamaican?
Well, the difficulties I have with this opposition leader, it varies. It cannot be pointed to one thing. I mean, yes, his decorum, the demeanor, and his style of politics that he allows being a leader. I mean, nonetheless, he's not the leader of the country, still a leader nonetheless. So the persons that you rule over, that look to you or should look to you, you should lead by example, and you should be the one that they model to say, okay, we want to be like our leader. And in that sense, you must lead from the front in a positive light, not being an inspiration in a negative way. You know what I mean? You must call out your own for their ways when there needs to be called out, and all them type of things, their neighbor. Don't come with this type of old politics that is tribal and aimed at causing civil unrest. You know what I mean? Don't try to divide us as a people for political mileage. You know what I mean? You can still be favored amongst the people without using the mechanism that he's currently using, right? So the mechanism they are using, thinking that's the only way they can present themselves to the people. Neighbor, they can do so in many other ways positively that might have or cause a few to think that, hey, this might be a better option to resort to. But as it stands now, they are only the best suited options, or option rather, to PNP people. And the results of the last election show that.
Now to the case against Mr. Holness today. Justice Sonia Wint Blair, in delivering the decision on Monday, ruled that the application was not arguable and was subject to a knockout blow in law. A knockout blow in law, Gustav, the PNP is not a party of dunce, sir. They are pretty decent lawyers over there. Why would they not have seen this?
Harry would have outlined the reasons why the PNP would have not stopped that process, because it is beyond what they want to happen in court. They really want to have this negative cloud to perennially be over the Prime Minister's head. So they're having enough intention that to peg away at the credibility of the Prime Minister will somewhat make him less favorable amongst people that wants to vote for a government. And in any attempt doing so, they don't care. They don't care what mechanism they can use to do that. The intention is they want to be government by any means at any cost. So whatever strategy there is that is possible to peg away or cause people to cast negative views on the government, or especially the Prime Minister, that's the ulterior motive. And that's what they intend to achieve from doing so. So even when they would have known prior to this going where it is, they care less about that. They are more in tune or caring about pegging away at the Prime Minister's integrity and also his fidelity
But
to the people of Jamaica.
But you know, Gustav, as I've thought about this today, I can't help but ask myself, is the PNP up to mischief here, sir? Because the court, Gustav, is saying if you look at this case, you wouldn't even have brought it forward. It was dead from its start. How does a political party of the experience of the PNP allows eggs to be on their faces tonight? How?
The neighbor, the eggs are already on their face without them putting it on their face. Now, the fact that the government is prolific with performance, even when there might be any imperfection or imperfections that are obvious of this government, even then, the performance when compared to that of a PNP performance in office, that alone rub the egg in their face, neighbor. So they have no real grounds on which to argue against the government to present themselves as a more viable or better option to the people. So the gutter type of politics that they're coming with is the only mechanism they can resort to, especially when you don't have a constituency that you can use as a facade or constituencies. You don't have a ministry, or they don't have nothing, neighbor, in terms of legacy to present to the people to say, look, we would have done better handling this ministry, or just generally all ministries. And in this regard, no, the JLP would have outshined them in all ministries. You know what I mean? So in that regard, they are basically out of ammunition. And the best ammunition is gutter type politics. Gutter politics include mischief, allowing mischief, inspiring civil unrest, and spreading misinformation and disinformation. That is gutter politics, other than when it gets physical on the ground.
Yeah. No, finally, Gustav, up to Akong Pong. Any new information you have gathered for us on what is happening up there?
I haven't gathered any new information at the time, but I still believe that the Prime Minister will do his portion by taking care of the people up there that are most in need without the authorization of Colonel Curry, though he does not need or needs to be authorized by Curry. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I absolutely agree with you. Well, my brother, we have a little bit of time. So want to thank you. Take care of yourself. Catch you tomorrow.
Yes, man. Homage, man.
Great, Gustav. Do we have who do we have? We have
And repost the live, please, and tap up the screen as you know they said. Because I know you guys getting some valuable information from the conversations we're having.
here's a challenge I have. There is about 30 people in the box that wants to come up. I suspect most of you are tappers, so I don't know. Could I just, all right, let's go in.
Walk it in your bed and relax.
Percival Hines, good night to you, sir.
Good night, sir.
First of all, have anything to add to the show? Any take on the topic?
Good night. It's not Powell. Tapo, good night. Good night.
For those persons who are tapping, could you just double check if you sent a request? If you have and you want to actually come up and speak, could you just put a message in the chat, please?
The Bull. Hi, sir. Good night.
Good night, neighbor.
Good night to you, sir.
How
Your
you
time.
doing?
I'm fine.
Yes, I want to send I want to what to call it now, to add to the account, your account, but I really don't know how to do it. You know,
Are you in Jamaica, sir? Are you in Jamaica?
No, I am in Atlanta.
Okay. You're the Bull, eh?
Yes, I am.
Let's I think Caroline may be listening. I think if she's listening, there's no doubt that she will be getting to you. If she does, can you take messages on TikTok, sir?
I am on TikTok, but
There's a message there.
yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a little button there. It's the message.
Right.
Can you take a message there?
Can I send you my number?
All right. I tell you what. Right? Can you take the show's number and send a WhatsApp? Can you do that?
Yes. Yes.
What's you call it? That's like French, you know what I mean?
So if I could just get because
876, write it down. 876.
Just 1 second here.
You ever hear somebody say that time it pot?
Let me see. Go ahead, neighbor.
876.
Yes.
858.
858. Yeah.
9553.
9553. Okay.
Repeat it for me, sir.
876 858 9553.
All right. So just WhatsApp that number and we'll talk to you, okay?
Okay, sir.
Send a WhatsApp to it, okay?
Okay.
Great. Fantastic. The Zelle number is 954 635 8732. I am the one. Good night to you.
Good night, neighbor. Good night.
Good night.
Harry and everybody else. I just want to add, my 2 cents to what we witnessed today.
Yes.
What we witnessed today is the real-time collapse of the PMP's attempt to completely discredit the rule of law in Jamaica and our political system.
Please mute your thing now.
Please, guys, do not tell anybody else up here just yet. Okay, please. These people. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Yes, I was saying what we witnessed today is the real-time collapse of the PMP's attempt to discredit the Jamaican political system and to mock our legal system. I say mock because they intentionally brought a case before the Supreme Court that had no merit. A lot of people don't understand what an affidavit is. An affidavit is pretty much a sworn statement. So that sworn statement that he brought before the Supreme Court could have been a sworn statement that he himself wrote and got a JP to stamp it, or one of his friends or somebody else. So it really holds no merit, And he brought this, to the Supreme Court to question, or to the appellate court to question the decisions made by the commission, which shows that this man and his party by extension has no respect for the rule of law in Jamaica.
Very good point. Yes, that's a good observation. And to strengthen that argument or to double down on it a bit, um, I suspect that when it comes on to matters of electoral law, the PNP would not be novices to this, sir.
No, definitely not. Definitely
Uh-huh.
not, because they have used the system in many
Sir,
cases before
sir, I
previously.
don't know if you remember when the golden was the 2007 election
Yes,
that the PNP brought cases to court in terms of the dual citizenship.
yes, yes. I remember.
Yes. And sir, that was an attempt to overthrow the government.
It also was.
Okay.
So this
Because
is not something new for the PNP.
if the court had ruled a certain way, the PNP would have become government. Yes, sir.
Yes, it would have caused the overturn of the election,
Yes.
because
But
that would have given them the seats that they would have needed to gain power.
why true? Why is it, sir, that the conversations in Jamaica are so myopic? Why is it that media do not examine these things more thorough and let the people of Jamaica see what is happening? Why?
Well, we all, as well thinking and well thinking Jamaicans, know this. The media in Jamaica has been bought out from years ago.
Bought
Michael
out?
Manley
You said bought out?
bought out and owned by the PNP. The media is just an extension of the
No.
PNP.
Why
I'm being
you
honest
say
with you.
that, sir? Huh?
Because it's a fact. The media houses in Jamaica are just an extension of the PNP. It's a
An
part of the
extension
PNP.
of an
It's a
extension, sir.
part. It's a part of the PNP's propaganda platform or propaganda arm.
What you saying? So when we're listening to media in Jamaica, we're listening to PNP. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much. Because who are the owners? Who are the owners of these
PNP
media houses?
PNP. Huh?
Yeah,
Wow.
pretty much. Who are the owners of these media houses?
That's a
Have you ever?
damning statement.
Have you ever? It is a damning statement, but it's a factual one.
Uh-huh. Well,
Remember when they were liquidating the JBC assets? Who did they sell it to?
well, well, sir. I don't know,
Okay.
because media is plural. So then
Exactly.
so nationwide.
Nationwide is the only independent journalism station, or it's not a conglomerate, right? Is the only independent media house in Jamaica that is not a part of the group that is owned and operated by the PNP machinery.
But the criticisms are that they are more supportive of the Labour Party.
That is
Would
not
you
true.
agree? Not true?
That is not true.
Uh-huh.
I view Nationwide Network as being a more unbiased network than the other networks, and because of their journalistic integrity and the fact that they're not reporting biasly nor phrasing their headlines biasly, they would appear to be supportive of the JLP or of the government in this case.
Uh-huh. Well,
And that is what we have seen over the past couple of years.
yes. So you say media in Jamaica are aligned. You were stronger than that. You said bought out. I'm not sure about that.
Of course. Well, I say bought out because when I say bought out, I mean that JBC used to be government owned entity, and that was sold to the RJR Communications Group. You
Wow.
understand? Yeah. So and back then the RJR Communications Group was owned and operated by a known member of the People's National Party.
Leave that alone. Leave that alone. You wanted to make a second. You wanted to make a second point, no?
Yes. So, you know, my second point is, you know, the reason we see this whole thing happen is they use it as another political football to score political mileage or political points against the Prime Minister and the government.
That's the court matter. That's a court matter.
That is a court matter.
Yes, we got that one, and we agree with you. The next point.
My next point is they're losing they're losing traction. You know, they're losing steam.
You mean the PNP?
The PNP. They're losing steam. Yes.
I thought they were picking up steam, sir. What do you mean losing steam?
No, they're losing steam. They're losing traction because a lot of the people who they previously had influence over, you know, and brought all of this negative criticism of the government to bear, you know, to influence these individuals. A lot of these people are waking up to the fact that they have been misled.
You think the people of Jamaica are waking up to that fact, sir?
Yes, I believe the people in Jamaica are waking up to that fact.
Where is the evidence?
Where is the evidence? How many people showed up to the march?
Which march?
They marched to overthrow the government that the PNP agitators and surrogates organized.
No, sir. With respect, there was no march today to overthrow the government. No march.
Exactly.
There was no march, sir.
But they have been discussing this openly on TikTok and you know, in the media for weeks now.
It tells you, sir, that there is a measure of ineffectiveness on that. You know, sir, if I call a protest tomorrow, I am sure I could get 20 people at least. No, they don't have any influence. It is just true. Yes?
Yeah, and that's exactly my point. They're losing traction. They're losing traction. People are losing faith in them. You understand? Because they're manufacturing of all of these nonsensical tales.
Yes, sir. But you know, sir, the day in politics is a long time, and you don't think that the PNP has an immediate future? I understand that Crawford is about to throw his hat in the ring. You don't think that they could emerge more attractive?
Personally speaking, I'm going to be very honest with you. You know, neighbor. I have family members that are in the hierarchy of the PNP. You know, as in MPs, senior members of the PNP, and I can tell you this much: Damian Crawford will never be the head of the PNP, the president of the PNP.
What do you mean never?
I have had this discussion with them personally, and I can tell you this much: Damian Crawford will never be the leader of the PNP.
Who are they considering to replace Mr. Golden?
As a replacement for Mr. Golden, Dr. Dawes has been brought to mention, and at one point,
Dr. Who? Dawes?
Yes, and at one point, Dayton Campbell was being discussed. Except he has too much, you know, baggage. Yeah.
They're considering Dr. Dawes.
Yeah.
Wow. A
So,
newcomer.
you know, yep, a newcomer. You know, because what happened in it, you said prior to Dr. Dawes being you know, joining the People's National Party, he had very strong influence and popularity as a physician, as a doctor. And this is what really gave him traction to even be a member of the PNP.
But you know, sir, political parties are in their positions to win government, and they want to win elections. You don't think that the delegates and the supporters of the PNP would be looking at Damian's, seeming popularity and say, he's our best choice at this time?
I doubt it very much.
Like Portia told the comrades,
which is true. Which is true enough, but bear this in mind. Bear this in mind, neighbor. Peter Phillips was very popular.
Popular,
and they casted him out and ostracized him. And I can tell you that I personally believe that if he was given a second chance, he would have been successful as, the prime minister.
Who?
As in, he would have, Peter Phillips. I believe he would have at winning the elections.
Which elections?
If he was given another chance after failing the first time. After his failure.
No, sir. Peter Phillips couldn't win no election in Jamaica, sir. No, sir. Peter Phillips can't even win. Barely could have win him seat last time, sir. No.
But he has the same kind of popularity that Damian has.
Who?
And even more so, Peter Phillips.
Really, sir?
Yes.
I will.
I know you're looking at it from the perspective that there are a lot of people who looked at Damian Crawford in the beginning and thought that this man was a man who knew how to split justice. And despite his political leanings, he would always make the right decisions. So there are even a lot of Jamaica Labour Party supporters who would consider him to be a viable alternative, yes, previously. But personally, I believe he has shot himself in the foot. With all of this political rhetoric and all of the negative press that he pushed over the past two elections, personally, he would not be a viable candidate for me. But as somebody who, as I say, I've relatives in the party and in the party's hierarchy, I can tell you that they don't even consider him to be a possible leader for the party.
All right, sir. Time is up on us.
All right. Good night.
Great night to you,
and
sir.
Thanks for having me. All right.